we were discussing expectations on different spaces, right. I partially proved this theorem. Right. So, we have omega x and y equals g of x. So, this theorem is saying that you can either compute. So, this is the expectation of y. So, you can either integrate on this space, right, that is that, or you can integrate on this space. So, basically you can compute integral g dpx with the probability law here, right. So, you can either go ahead and find the probability of law of y and integrate this, or you can just keep the probability law of x and integrate g, right. So, they are equal. So, this is something that you probably use without really, I mean, without really knowing why it is true, right. So, that is what we were trying to prove. So, we proved it for simple functions, right. Proved for simple functions last lecture. Simple G previous lecture. So, if G is a simple function, we proved that integral G dpx is equal to integral y dp, right. So, that was proved, and it was trivially equal to integral y dpy, because it was only taking those finite values y1 through yn, and you could just write this as sum over y1 probability y equal to y1, right. So, in the simple, when G was simple, it is very easy. Now, if you have to generalize to non-negative G, then you have to approximate G from below using simple functions. Suppose G is non-negative and measurable. Let Gn be a sequence of simple functions such that Gn increases to G, let us say for all x. Okay. Can I always do that? Because I have that explicit construction, we can take that Gn which we wrote down, right, by chopping down the vertical axis. So, you can always do that. So, now what happens is you will have, so Gn's are simple, right. So, you will have Gn of x, Gn of capital X will be random variables, simple random variables, which monotonically increase to G of x, right. So, thus G of x, Gn of x, let us say. So, Gn is a sequence of simple functions. So, Gn of x will be a sequence of simple random variables, right, and since Gn increases to G, I can write Gn of capital X increases to G of x, correct, fine. Now, what do we know? So, now I know that for simple functions my result is proven, right. So, I am going to exploit that. So, I want to write integral y dp, right. So, this is what I want, integral y dp, that is nothing but, so this function, so y is a so you should look at this as a function mapping omega to this r, right. Y is a, so that I can write this as integral g of big X dp. So, g of big X is the random variable, right. So, I am computing expectation of y, which is nothing but the expectation of g of capital X, correct. So, I have that, right. This is the LHS, right hand left hand side, this is equal to limit n tending to infinity integral gn of x dp. Why is that? MCT, monotone convergence theorem, that is because gn of x is a sequence of random variables that increases to g of x. So, this is because of MCT. Now, I know, so this guy I can deal with, right. So, this guy is equal to limit n tending to infinity integral gn d px, correct. So, I am just looking at, so if you just focus on this part of the statement, right, I am saying that integral g t dpx, if g is simple, integral g dpx is equal to integral g of x. So, y is nothing but g of capital X, right. So, integral g of capital X dp is equal to integral g dpx, but that is true for simple functions, correct. So, I am just using that, this is equal to that because we have already proven, right. This is because gn is simple, we already proved that previous lecture, fine. So, that is the key step. Now what happens? Do I know this limit, this what? This is equal to integral g dpx, again because of MCT, because gn is increasing. So, here I am using the fact that gn of x is a sequence of increasing random variables. Here I am using the fact that gn of little x, right, is a sequence of increasing functions, that is it, right. So, when I write g of capital X, I mean the random variable g of x of omega. When I just write little gn or little g, I mean the function of x, little x, correct. That is the notation I have been following, okay. So, this has been proven. So, I have proved what I need to prove for, so I have proven this for any non-negative function g, right. Then the next step will be to write, if g is arbitrary, we will write g is equal to g plus g minus, then it will work out, all right. So, the proof is over then. So, this is just saying that if G is my identity map, right, G is my identity map, then integral y dp is same as integral little y dpy, right. So, I can either, so for any random variable x or y, let us say, expectation of y can be computed by integrating y dp or integral little y dpy, if you look at that, right. So, you can either integrate over the probability space or integrate over R, okay. So, you can that is a trivial corollary, right, for any random variable x, integral x dp is equal to integral little x dpx, okay. That is a simple corollary of this, okay. So, by now you would have realized that practically, I mean, all basic results in integration are proved in exactly the same way. You start off with simple functions and then you generalize to non negative functions. Now there are two ways of doing it. You either use the supremum definition or now you use monotone convergence theorem. There are two options, right. So, one of the two is what you keep using. Good. So, this proves the theorem. Next I want to move on to expectation of continuous random variables. Expectation of discrete random variable we already covered, right. Now I am going to derive an explicit formula for the expectation of a continuous random variable. So, what the main result, the main formula is going to use integration over different spaces and in conjunction with Radon-Nikodym theorem. Okay. So, let us this is something I should have done earlier probably. So, Radon-Nikodym theorem I sort of stated imprecisely because you did not really understand what an abstract integral was back then, right. So, now let me just recall Radon-Nikodym theorem and state it properly. Okay. So, recall Radon-Nikodym theorem. So, P x is absolutely continuous with respect to lambda, the Lebesgue measure, if and only if there exists a measurable function f x from R to 0 infinity such that for all Borel sets B, P x of B is equal to integral f x d lambda over B. Okay, so, this is an if and only if statement. So, I am stating this properly now for the case of absolutely continuous measures P x with respect to Lebesgue measure. Okay. It holds more generally for any two sigma finite measures. Okay. I mean in fairly general spaces, but this is the only thing of concern to us. So, P x of, so it says that there exists a Radon-Nikodym derivative f x or the density f x such that for every Borel set B, P x of B is equal to integral over that Borel set f x d lambda. So, this is exactly what I wrote down, except now you completely understand what this means. I am integrating f x, which is a measurable function, non negative measurable function with respect to Lebesgue measure on a Borel set. Okay. So, now you understand this completely, right. And then we went on to say that, oh, if the Borel set is minus infinity x, then my CDF is equal to integral minus infinity to x f x dx, right. So, from now on it does not really matter if you write f x dx or f x d lambda, because as I mentioned if the Riemann integral exists, the Lebesgue integral will always exist and the two values will be equal, right. So, even if I write integral f x dx, you can just interpret it as a Lebesgue integral. It is safer to interpret it as a Lebesgue integral because it is more general. So, I am going to use this theorem on different spaces, this expectation on different spaces in conjunction with Radon-Nikodym theorem to derive an expression for the expectation of a continuous random variable. So, let me say this as a theorem. Let x be a continuous random variable on omega f p and let p a measurable function which is either non negative or satisfies integral absolute G G is a measurable function from R to R, isn't it? So, absolute G G d dx is less than infinity. Then expectation of g of x. So, expectation of g of x is equal to integral g so integral g f x d lambda. In particular, expectation of x is equal to integral x f x d lambda. Okay. So, this is the theorem. So, this is what you have been using, right, for a continuous random variable x. If I ask you to find the expectation of x, actually more in elementary courses you define this as the expectation, right. If x is a continuous random variable, you say the expectation is integral x f x dx, correct, and for a discrete random variable you define it as sum over a I p of a I, right. So, expectation was defined very disparately for continuous random variables and discrete random variables in more elementary courses, and if the random variable is a mixture or something, you will have to invent another formula, and now we know that actually there are singular random variables mixtures thereof, right, and for those none of your elementary formula will work, right. But so, what we have, so the mathematically sound way of defining it is to just give one uniform definition integral x dp and particularize it for discrete continuous whatever you have. Okay. So, the definition is the same, expectation of x is integral x dp, right, integrate the random variable with respect to measure p, that is the definition, and that gives you different formulae. Okay. So, the discrete formula that you are familiar with comes out of that, and so does the formula for continuous random variables. Okay. So, in some sense, so this is not a definition, this is something we are going to prove, right. We define the expectation as integral x dp and prove that this is the formula for expectation of x for a continuous random variable. So, this works for actually, so there are some technical conditions. So, this definitely works for non negative functions g, okay, in which case the integral is always well defined, and it also works when the g is absolutely integrable, meaning that g plus and g minus, if you write down g plus and g minus, you do not have the infinity minus infinity kind of problems, okay, you have a very well defined real number, right. In both these cases this works. So, any questions on the statement? So, integral x f x, so this is x f capital X d lambda, f x is the density, right. So, we expect on f p, so with PDF f x, okay. X is a continuous random variable, so it has a density, and the expectation is given by the integral of x f x d lambda, okay. This is over the whole real line, when I do not say anything it is over the whole real line, right. In more elementary notation you will write this as integral minus infinity to infinity x f x of x dx, right, except now I am writing it as a Lebesgue integral, that is all, right. You already know this formula, this is nothing new. How would you prove it?